When men stop living by a code, freedom dies. Our forefathers didn't die for convenience. They didn't bleed for comfort. They fought and died because they believed in something sacred. Honor. Today we throw that word around like a costume. But honor was never a look, it was a lifestyle. It was the invisible backbone that made nations stand tall. And now, we live in a generation that laughs at integrity, mocks faith, and calls weakness progress. But I'll tell you this, when honor dies, the soul of a nation dies with it. Once upon a time, a man's word was his bond. If he said he will do something, he did it, even if it broke him. Men didn't need contracts or applause. Their reputation was their shield, and their integrity was their weapons. But somewhere along the line, that code was lost. Now we glorify deceit, worship self-interest, and call selfishness self-love. We teach people to follow their feelings when our ancestors taught us to master them. A society built on emotion cannot stand, because emotion changes with the wind. But honor is eternal. It's rooted in truth, not convenience. You see, a man without honor is a man without direction. He might look strong, but is hollow inside. That's why we have a world full of influencers, but not leaders. We have men chasing status instead of purpose. We have mothers and fathers abandoning homes, warriors bowing to comfort, and politicians selling out to the same people they swore to serve. Our forefathers built nations with discipline, faith, and sacrifice. We're destroying them with lust, greed, and distraction. Freedom didn't die, men did. Men who stood on principle, who feared God more than public opinion, who would rather die on their feet than live on their knees. Every civilization that abandoned honor was buried in its own decadence. Rome rotted from the inside long before it was conquered. Babylon fell because it drowned in pleasure and pride. Even the Vikings, fierce and noble, lost their way when they stopped honoring their code and surrendered to their greed. History repeats itself, not because fate demands it, but because man forgets the lessons his ancestor paid for in blood. And now we stand on the same cliff, not facing swords and arrows, but apathy, lust, and lies. The weapons changed, the war didn't. If you trade truth for comfort, they tell you you're free. But freedom without honor is just an illusion. What good is freedom if it costs your soul? If you trade truth for comfort? If you silence yourself just to fit into a world built on deception? We think we're evolving, but we're regressing. We've got men afraid to speak truth, women ashamed of virtue, and children growing up with no one to show them what courage looks like. We have mistaken rebellion for wisdom and indulgence for freedom. But there is no freedom without restraint. There is no strength without sacrifice. Honor isn't dead, it's buried. Buried beneath convenience, ego, and fear. But it's waiting for men and women like us to dig it back up. To live by a code again. To bring back the days where your handshake meant something. When the father's presence shaped a son. And when truth was not something you negotiated, but something you stood for. Real honor begins when you serve something greater than yourself. That's the spiritual reset our world needs. Not politics, not programs, but principles. Faith, discipline, integrity, courage, and loyalty. These aren't just old words. They are the foundation of freedom itself. Brothers and sisters, this is not nostalgia. It's necessity, because without honor, there is no civilization. If our forefathers could rise and see what we've become, they wouldn't be angry. They would be heartbroken. We have traded legacy for luxury, purpose for pleasure, and truth for tolerance. But there are still a few of us left. The ones who remember, the ones who still believe that freedom means something sacred, that discipline is divine, and that honor is not optional. So today I'm calling you to rise again, not to fight the world, but to fight for your soul, to rebuild the code, to bring back the spirit of the warrior, the father, the mother, the believer, and the protector. Because the day men and women of honor rise again, the world will change. This is forged in fire. We do not follow trends, we follow truth. We do not seek comfort, we seek purpose. We are the generation that remembers what freedom cost. And we will not let honor die on our watch. Rebuild the temple, restore the code, reignite the spirit.